Hello, traders. Last week was a very interesting week. The tech was overbought and technology came in a little bit. I'm not going to get overly blown here on the sell off in the markets, but it's something to be aware of that we might be getting a little rotation going on here in the markets. And so far, the markets are still holding out well, so I'm not going to really get too panicked about the things. Basically, we have a monthly VPOC that developed in March before the big sell off. We came back down to that VPOC, and the VPOC that built out in September uh, was that September or August? Can't remember. August. Built out in August. We came back down to that VPOC, and basically it's exact same price point, and we held it well. Uh, Friday was the chance to break down and drift down below that, and instead they came in force and saved it so far on the ES futures. So that's what we've got here going into the first of next week. So basically we start the Thursday lows, Friday lows and stuff. We have to break that area to start seeing a trend to the downside, and we're still above. The white line represents the 2020 Open on the SPY, and you can tell we are above the open price after a stellar performance last year. So far in the markets. Okay, let's go to the next one here. The NQs. Get it zoomed here out here so you guys see better here. Basically, we had an overbought situation. Basically, what we had happen, we had the announcement for the buybacks from Apple and Tesla, and this thing just took off to the moon after that announcement. But the volumes didn't really go with it. It's just a massive short squeeze there in August, and because of that, the volume point of control for the month of August did not migrate near the highs, near the closing highs, and basically we have come back into value for August value. Came right all the way back down to that VPOC, and now we've found a responsive buy. So still a very bullish pattern for the NQs. We're still in this primary uptrend right now, and basically all we saw was an overbought sell-off situation. I know it was really dramatic, but also this rebound was awfully dramatic that we saw Friday. So we don't want to get too bearish in our minds about this market under that situation. Some other things here. You've got your Tesla. Or you're not Tesla. You Russell. It's pretty much basing out here sideways so far. Basically, we want to see our tech and our Russell both showing relative weakness going forward. I mean, we did get a little bit more relative weakness, uh, you know, on the Russell there Friday. So we want to see this stuff breaking down before it could really set in a major profiteering profit taking scenario in the markets. Yet we're still not seeing that yet. We should have had a much greater sell off Thursday and Friday in the Russell, but they were holding it out well because these have truly underperformed the 2020 year, and we are still down negative for 2020 on the Russell, even despite the sell that we couldn't even get back positive on the year before the big sell off Thursday and Friday. Okay, the week going forward here, some things that I'm looking at here. As you can see, I got a pretty good list here of some bullish action that was hitting the tape. Of course, we had that nice little rally Friday. And then we have a smaller list on the put side that was still catching some bearish flow going into next week. So basically, what tops my list here, General Motors. Uh, Basically, we are still getting buy side activity on General Motors coming in for Friday. Nothing really stood out on the chart, in my opinion, but they are seems to be buy side activity for General Motors, as if that they may be looking for higher prices on GM. The next target would be 34.65 area if the prices were to start coming in here. They were buying the 36 calls for October 16th. So we're talking about, almost a month and a half out. They're thinking somebody came in about 4,750 calls of the 36 calls for General Motors. So somebody seems to think that General Motors is coming up to this price range uh, mid October. So definitely want to keep on watch. I'm also seeing rotation. They were preparing with that bounce we saw Friday. Basically, traders were there were some big bets going on the table for the COVID impacted names like the airlines. Jets is the ETF that pretty much tracks the airlines. JETS. They do some other things too, some defense stocks and stuff too. But yeah, that's what they do. And basically, this was one of the ones that was catching a lot of interest Friday. The 20 calls for this October 16th. So they're thinking out to October, we're going to be back up into this area for the airlines, which could very well happen after the Labor Day. We'll get the numbers back from these Labor Day numbers and see how well people are flying. But there was 433, so it's not a major outlier. But Jets is not a major trader either. Anyway, Datadog is another one, some bullish activity. In my opinion, it's very overpriced still, despite, we had this gap down. So they have really bad earnings and it's really overpriced, but they did have bullish activity for Datadog. The 85 calls basically going to put it back up into this range right here for November 20th. So for November, the month of November, and 12,600 calls were firing at this price point. So somebody making a big bet the Datadog is coming back up into this range by November. So we also COVID related names, the financials. Goldman Sachs had quite a bit of activity. The 220 calls were firing for September 18th, so that's 2 weeks out. So we're looking at the 220 calls here. They have some bullish activity here. So I definitely want to keep that on watch here for that. Then we also had Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan, I'm sorry. Goldman Sachs also showing 110 calls. So that's really a little bit more bullish than even Goldman Sachs for the same September 18th. 3,500 calls are firing for JP Morgan. So a little bit more bullish bet going on here for JP Morgan, in my opinion. So that's one definitely keep on watch. Somebody's thinking we're going to coming back up in this range here for JP Morgan. Starting here soon. Another one, which is a COVID name, is seeing continued bullish side activity here. Look at this massive sell off in Gilead. Looks like we're buy the dippers are looking to be checking out Gilead here, and I made a big bet. I guess somebody was really wanting to take a bullish stance that Gilead maybe was coming out with something significant. They were buying the 100 calls. Yes, somebody took a major bet here that Gilead by November 20th potentially could see $100. So, yeah, that is an amazing bet. But 2,238 calls fired on that. So, yeah, definitely something to watch. I'd want to watch this for a buy the dipper here. Gilead really looks nice for a potential. We got a gap above us. Could explode to the upside, in my opinion. They've taken it to the woodshed, but that's one of my favorites for a bullish side bet here. It's had a nice little base here, and it looks like it is preparing to set up this week for a bullish move. And my final one on the bullish side, that's your Carnival Cruises. Same thing. Um, really beat up by the COVID stuff. They are looking at the September 11th. So that's this week's expiration. The 1850 calls, 2,000 of them fired for this week. So it looks like some bullish activity here for Carnival cruises coming into this week. Okay. And so those are on the bullish side. On the bearish side, XRT retail. Okay, retail really getting a little bit of bearish side activity here. Okay, and let's see here, the 43 puts. So basically, on the bearish side, somebody's thinking XRT could come all the way down here by September 20th. So about 2 weeks out. Potentially seeing some bearish side activity for XRT. And if you look here, here's the top holdings. Overstock got destroyed this week. Then we got continued miss. Carvana really got hit bad this week. Wayfair got hit real bad this week. Etsy got hit real bad this week. That's just a few of the, and I think Best Buy is really looking pretty bad this week as well. Some really nice bearish setups potentially here on the XRT ETF, in my opinion. So yeah, major bet. Somebody on that XRT is 2,400 contracts of the 43 puts. So that's a pretty big one on that. Then I saw some action on the bearish side in the bonds. Somebody, LQD is a corporate bonds, and they were buying about see here, did I write that down here? The 130 puts, yeah, the 130 puts for September 11th this week. So basically, somebody was making a bet that corporate bonds were going to have a pretty significant move to the downside this week. So that's bearish to markets, in my opinion, if that were to happen. So definitely keep that in mind. As only 2,500 contracts, so but definitely something to keep and watch on your watch going forward this week. Then we also had what's it, G? Bearish bet on Genworth Holdings. Okay, that's the financials. Okay, I didn't write the details on that one. XBI, that's the biotechs. Okay, so I did want to mention this one here. October 20th. So somebody's making a big bet. The 92 puts will be in the money come October 20th. So definitely that would mean that the 95 area here is in play for XBI. So definitely something to keep on watch. That would be more continued bearish action in Gilead, if possibly, if in that case. So this is one I definitely want to keep on my watch here. Oh, 15,000 contracts. So major, that's a pretty significant bet here on the XBI bearish bet going into next week. And then high yield bonds, that's another bond ETF for corporate bonds. There was 25,000 contracts of the 80 puts. So somebody's making a bet way down here that high yield bonds are becoming in pretty hard here. So that's another thing we got to keep on watch. As these bonds come in, yields go up. Keep that in mind. So yeah, so we got some pretty big bets that corporate bonds are going to be coming in pretty hard here this in the next 2 months. So some pretty big bearish bets in that regard. Then we had AT&T. Okay, we have another big bet on that one. The 29 puts. Okay, and it's really close. The strike isn't that far away here, but for this week or 2 weeks out, almost a $20,000 bet that we're going to see below $29 on AT&T. So it's something to keep on watch here. And then we also had which another one here? Is there any other big ones here? AT&T. Okay, those are the big ones. Okay, that I noticed here. I don't need to do these others, but that's pretty much all I got to say here. I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of some of the things that we're setting up here on the option markets that might be driving price flow into the future. I do have my eye on Boeing and AAL for the first of the week, thinking they our bullish setups. As you can see, this downtrend line, boom, and we're right into that downtrend again. I think we're going to get a short squeeze, and that would go line in line with that Jets ETF bullish activity potential for American Airlines and Jets, and also Boeing because it's been beaten up so bad. Here we are. We finally went sideways, bottom of this uptrend channel. Uh, so definitely something to keep on watch here. It's too close to call to say that the bottom's in for Boeing, but this is one on my watch here. That if I zoom in here, I can show you what I have drawn on my charts. Basically, this is what I got going on here for Boeing. We've come second time we've come right into this uptrend channel on Boeing, and we tried to break below that Friday. Immediately, buyers came in. That this typically means a continuation. The shorts are going to just get squeezed in the first week, in my opinion. So this is definitely one I want to keep on watch going into next week, in my opinion. Uh, so basically, that's all I got to say this week. Like the video if you like it. Leave comments below if you don't, and I will see you guys in the trading room next week. Thanks a lot for tuning into my videos.